Welcome back, student. In last lecture we started the first chapter, introduction to proteins and peptides. In that lecture we study about the introduction of peptides and the proteins, their definition and classification, their structure. In next lecture we study this cofactors or a coenzyme. In that we have to study a TPP, folic acid, PLP, etc. The cofactor is any non-protein molecule that enables an otherwise inactive enzyme to catalyze a reaction. They work by binding to their enzyme active site and modifying it so that the target substrate will bind as well. The cofactor are inorganic metal ions or small organic molecules. It means cofactors are made up from organic as well as inorganic molecules. If a cofactor is an organic molecule, then it is called as a coenzyme. These coenzymes are further divided into a co-substrate, which are transient coenzymes that bind temporarily, and prosthetic groups which are permanently bound to the enzymes. An enzyme without a cofactor called as a apoenzyme, and the enzyme cofactor complex is called as a holoenzyme. This apoenzyme is enzymatically inactive proteins. Types of cofactors. As we seen, the cofactors are made up from organic as well as inorganic. Hence, the cofactors is divided into two types. It is first one is a organic cofactor and second one is a inorganic cofactor. It is inorganic cofactor. It is also called as a metal ions, and organic cofactor called as a coenzymes. Again, these coenzymes or a organic cofactor divided into two types: co-substrate or a transiently associated, and second one is a prosthetic groups permanently associated. Coenzymes are usually derived from the vitamins. There are two types of vitamins: water soluble vitamins, and second one is a lipid or a fat soluble vitamins. The lipid or fat soluble vitamins are a vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. And the water soluble vitamins are all vitamin B complexes. Vitamin C are the water soluble vitamins. Let us see the lipid soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, it is a important part of visual pigment, and the structure of this vitamin A is given here. Due to deficiency of vitamin A, there is the night blindness. Second vitamin is a vitamin E. It acts as an antioxidant. Structure of this vitamin E is like that. Vitamin K1, it is a blood clotting factor. This is a vitamin K1. Next one is a vitamin D2. D2, the name of this vitamin D2 is a ergocalciferol. It is used in a calcium metabolism and bone growth, and the structure of this vitamin D2, ergocalciferol. Water soluble vitamins. All vitamin B complexes and vitamin C are water soluble. Function of water soluble vitamins: they mainly acts as an enzyme cofactor. Only the water soluble vitamins are acts as a enzyme cofactor, while fat or a lipid soluble vitamins, it means A, D, E and K, does not act as a cofactor. These water soluble vitamins are hydrophilic compounds, dissolve easily in water, not readily stored because they are a water soluble, hence excreted from the body. Their consistent daily intake is very important because they are not stored into our body. Many of the water soluble vitamins are synthesized by bacteria. Let us see the first cofactor is a thiamine pyrophosphate. This thiamine pyrophosphate is a cofactor which is derived or which is obtained from the vitamin B1, or it is also called as a thiamine. It is a precursor of coenzyme. The actual coenzyme is a thiamine pyrophosphate which is synthesized from the vitamin B1 or a thiamine. The reaction is given here. This is a structure of thiamine. When this thiamine treated with this kinase enzyme, then it gives a thiamine pyrophosphate. This is pyrimidine ring, thiazole ring attached to CH2 group, and this is phosphate group, 2 phosphate group, hence it is a thiamine pyrophosphate, or it is also called as a thiamine diphosphate. Role of thiamine pyrophosphate. There are 2 types of reaction given by TPP. First one, an oxidative decarboxylation of alpha keto acids, and second one is a trans ketolase reaction. All of these reactions are inhibited in thiamine deficiency. In each case, the thiamine pyrophosphate provides a reactive carbon on the thiazole that forms a carbanion, which is then free to add to the carbonyl group of, for instance, pyruvate. The addition of compound then decarboxylate, eliminating CO2. This reaction occurs in a multi-enzyme complex known as a pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Further, we have to see the detail or a whole reaction of this. The oxidative decarboxylation of alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl coenzyme A and CO2 is catalyzed by an enzyme complex structurally similar to the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Again, thiamine pyrophosphate provides a stable carbanion to react with the alpha carbon of alpha ketoglutarate. Let us see this whole information in a reaction form. This is a general structure of a TPP. Here R dash group is a pyrimidazine, and here R double dash is the phosphate group. Okay, and this carbon having one hydrogen which is abstracted by a base, hence here formation of a carbanion. This carbanion attack over this pyruvate CH3 C double bond O CO2 negative. This pyruvic acid, from this pyruvic acid we abstracted a hydrogen, it converted into a pyruvate. Okay, when this pyruvate reacts with TPP carbanion, then this carbanion attack over this carbonyl carbon which is deficient, electronically deficient. Then this pi bond opens over a oxygen and abstract this hydrogen. We get here this addition product, and after some rearrangement you get this compound at which carbon bears a negative charge, and this compound used for further reaction of preparing acetyl coenzyme A. Role of TPP for synthesizing acetyl coenzyme A from pyruvic acid. In last reaction we saw how to prepare this compound. When TPP reacts with pyruvate, you get this compound. Okay, when this compound reacts with enzyme bound lipomide or a lipoic acid. Okay, when this enzyme bound lipomide reacts with this compound, then this negative charge attack over this sulfur, and then this ring opens and this bond opens over sulfur, and here formation of negative charge, and this negative charge abstract a proton. This whole reaction is a pyruvate dehydrogenase. In next step there is a rearrangement. This OH bond forms here a double bond, it means here formation of carbonyl, and again here you get a TPP molecule. Okay, here you get your cofactor as it is, and the remaining part is CH3 C double bond O S CH2 CH2 CHSH CH2 4 times CONHE. This is enzyme bound lipomide which is attached to the acyl group. Then in next step, acetyl coenzyme A or a coenzyme A COASH in presence of dihydrolipoyl acetyl transferase. Then this S negative or S lone pair over this sulfur atom attack over this carbon, then this bond opens over oxygen, again restore, and there is elimination of enzyme bound lipomide dihydrolipomide, and you get a acetyl coenzyme A. In this way we can prepare acetyl coenzyme A, it means CH3C double bond O S coenzyme A by using a TPP thiamine pyrophosphate via the pyruvic acid or a pyruvate dehydrogenase. This is the role of TPP. Next cofactor is a pyridoxal phosphate. This pyridoxal phosphate cofactor is obtained from vitamin B6. This pyridoxal phosphate is the coenzyme of several enzymes of amino acid metabolism. It functions in isomerization, decarboxylation, racemization, transamination, side chain elimination reactions involving amino acids. In last semester, we saw the role of this PLP in case of transamination, decarboxylation. In this also we saw the same role of this PLP. By entering into a Schiff-base combination between its aldehyde group and the amino group of an alpha amino acid, pyridoxal phosphate can facilitate changes in the 3 remaining bonds of the alpha amino carbon to allow either transamination, decarboxylation or threonine aldolase activity respectively. Let us see one by one. And this compound undergo a dehydrogenase, then this primary alcohol converted into a aldehyde group, and in next kinase enzyme this compound converted into a PLP coenzyme A. Here only this hydrogen replaced by phosphate group PO3H2. This is the pyridoxal phosphate coenzyme. First role of PLP in a transamination. Transamination means shifting of amino group into a keto group. The transfer of an amino group from an amino acid to a keto acid with the formation of a new amino acid and a new keto acid called as a transamination. Let us see one example. Here I will take a 2-oxoglutaric acid, COH, C double bond O, CH2, CH2, COH. When this 2-oxoglutaric acid undergo a transamination in presence of glutamate dehydrogenase or a PLP, then it gives a glutamic acid. Here this carbonyl group is converted into a NH2. This is a transamination. Let us see one general mechanism. Here I will take one alpha amino acid. The structure of this general alpha amino acid is a RCH NH2 C double bond O OH. Okay, and the pyridoxal phosphate, the structure of pyridoxal phosphate is a pyridine ring, OH CH3, here CHO, and here CH2 phosphate group. This is a pyridoxal phosphate. When this pyridoxal phosphate reacts with any alpha amino group, then this H2 and this oxygen combine together. There is a condensation reaction and elimination of water molecule, and you get this aldimine, in which N double bond CH bond formation takes place. This is a aldimine or a imine. In simple language we also call it as a imine formation. In next step, this hydrogen from this amino acid get eliminated and forms here a double bond. Simultaneously this bond between nitrogen and carbon shifted or undergo a resonance with this pyridine ring, and there is formation of a ketimine. Ketimine means this bond formation. This is a ketimine formation. In next step, this ketimine undergo a hydrolysis. For the hydrolysis we have to take a consideration of this carbon double bond nitrogen. When this bond get hydrolyzed, then here formation of a NH2 and here formation of a C double bond O. It means at the starting the bond is present in a alpha amino acid is a carbon nitrogen, and after hydrolysis we get a C double bond O, means here formation of a keto group, and for this pyridoxal phosphate we get here a NH2 group. It means there is a transfer of this carbonyl group to this amino acid and this NH2 group to this pyridoxal phosphate. This is a transamination reaction, and the last product we get a pyridoxamine phosphate, CH2 NH2 plus R C double bond O COOH. You get a keto acid. This is the general mechanism for a transamination. This is also an example or a mechanism for transamination, same way as we seen. Next example for transamination, here COH C double bond O R plus COH CH NH2 CH2 CH2 COH transaminase, it means PLP. Then you get here a this NH2 group converted into carbonyl, and this carbonyl group converted into a NH2. You have to draw the mechanism for this reaction. For the drawing the mechanism, first upon react this amino group or a amino acid with PLP, then there is formation of keto acid, okay, and in next step you get this pyridoxamine phosphate. This pyridoxamine phosphate reacts with this keto acid, you get this amine. In your notebook, draw the mechanism for this reaction. Next, role of PLP in a decarboxylation. We know the mechanism for decarboxylation, hence here I will not give a mechanism. COH, CH, NH2, CH2, CH2, COH. When this molecule undergo a decarboxylation reaction in presence of PLP, then there is elimination of CO2. This is a step down reaction, and we get here a NH2, CH2, 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 COH. Here one carbon unit is less than the starting. This is a decarboxylation reaction. In your notebook, write the whole mechanism for this decarboxylation reaction. Next one is a racemization reaction by PLP. In this L-alanine undergo a racemization, and due to racemization by using a PLP as a cofactor, this L-alanine converted into a D-alanine, and this D-alanine, it is useful constituent of a bacterial cell wall. This is a racemization reaction by PLP. Next cofactor is a folic acid. Folic acid, also called as a folate. It consists of the base pteridine attached to one molecule each of para-amino-benzoic acid, also called as a PABA, and glutamic acid. It means this folic acid constitutes the three molecules. First one is a pteridine ring, second one is a PABA, and third one is a glutamic acid. The animals are not capable of synthesizing this para-amino-benzoic acid or of attach glutamate to stearic acid, and therefore require folate in their diet. Yeast, liver, and leafy vegetables are the major sources of folic acid. The tetrahydrofolate, H4 folate, or also called as a THF, is the active form of folic acid. This is a structure of folic acid. In this pteridine ring, para-amino-benzoic acid, glutamic acid, these three molecules forms a folic acid. The coenzyme of folic acid are actively involved in the one carbon metabolism. Tetrahydrofolate acts as an acceptor or donor of one carbon units such as formyl, methyl in reactions involving amino acid and nucleotide metabolism. Let us see the role of folic acid in one carbon metabolism. The amino acid metabolism is important for transfer or exchange of one carbon unit. Tetrahydrofolate is a versatile coenzyme, actively participates in one carbon metabolism. The one carbon units carried by H4 folate represents a series in various steps or various states of oxidation, namely methyl, methylene, methinyl, formyl and formimino, and all are interconvertible to each other. Let us see how this mechanism operated. Here is one chart in which this H4 folate is converted into a methylene, methyl, methinyl, formimino, formyl and folinic acid. When this H4 folate reacts with a serine, then this serine is converted into a glycine, and this one carbon is attached to the N5 or a N10 group of this folic acid, hence called as a N5N10 methylene H4 folate. When this methylene H4 folate undergo a reduction by using a NADH, then NADH converted into a NAD plus, then there is a reduction and there is breaking of this carbon N10 bond, and we get here a formation of N5CH3 bond, hence it is a N5 methyl H4 folate. By the reduction we get a N5 methyl H4 folate. Again, due to reduction NADPH to NADP plus, it means oxidation, we get a N5N10 methinyl H4 folate. One hydrogen is removed from this bond, we get this N5N10 methinyl H4 folate. When this N5N10 methinyl H4 folate undergo a hydrolysis, then this nitrogen carbon bond gets break. Here is the possibility of two products, either we get a nitrogen carbon bond, N5 carbon bond, or a N10 carbon bond. This is the two possibilities. This is the first possibility and this is second possibility, in which we get a N5 formyl H4 folate and here N10 formyl H4 folate due to hydrolysis. Here you get a N5 formimino H4 folate. When this molecule reacts with a ammonium ion, you get here a N5 formimino H4 folate. This is the one carbon metabolism by using a folic acid. Let us see the mechanism. Serine is the major source of one carbon unit in the form of a methylene group, which it transfers reversibly to H4 folate to form glycine and N5N10 methylene H4 folate, which plays a central role in one carbon unit metabolism. As we seen in this first step, you get a N5N10 methylene H4 folate by using a serine. When this serine reacts with THF, you get this compound. It can be reduced to N5-methyl H4 folate, which has an important role in methylation of homocysteine to methionine, involving methylcobalamin as a cofactor. Alternatively, it can be oxidized to N5N10 methinyl H4 folate, which can then be hydrated to either N10 formyl H4 folate or to N5 formyl H4 folate, as we seen earlier this mechanism. This is a one carbon unit metabolism by folic acid. This is the role of folic acid as a cofactor. Thank you.